Good evening, it's Cole the Red. It's been a little while since the last update. There has and there hasn't been things going on. I didn't really want to just kind of keep talking about the same things over and over, so I've kind of left it a little bit, just kind of, so we have actually got something to talk about and to catch up on. Before we go any further, it goes without saying, but if you're watching, do me a massive favour if you can, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit subscribe. All helps me out. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. So let's get into it, shall we? Let's get into it. So Mason Mount being confirmed, which we all kind of knew if you've been watching the news and keeping up things. We all knew Mason Mount was coming in. The price, maybe 5 to 10 mil more than ideally I would have liked, but for a player who's got 1 year left on his contract, but he's English, he's young, well, 24, youngish. And to me, I think he will be an upgrade on Christian Eriksen, which is, I think, the role he's coming to do. He's coming to do that number 8 role next to Casemiro. Because there was that, I don't know, so Christian Eriksen, first half of the season was brilliant, I thought, up until he got injured. Looked brilliant, was one of our best players. Just before the injuries, perhaps fading just a little bit, perhaps a little bit fatigue or whatever, but you could see there was starting, but not a massive drop, just a small drop off. After the injury, didn't look the same player. FA Cup final, I didn't think was a very good performance from him. I think the effort was there, to be fair, just nothing was working for him. And maybe he, with his medical history, maybe with his age, he can't do 2-3 games a week. Maybe he just physically, his body can't let him do that. Which is why you need another player. You need a rotation option who's got the quality, and someone who hopefully could actually take his place in the first team. Eriksen can become the rotation, that rotation option, which lets him then come in, play once a week, or in the League Cup or whatever, or if we get some Champions League group stage games where there's, we're already through, and he can have a bit of a run out, and I think he could still be a quality option as a squad player, but I just don't think he's for a full season. If you're trying to go far in all the cups, trying to win trophies, I don't think he's that guy. Just my thoughts. Obviously, you might think otherwise. If you do, tell me in the chat, tell me in the comments. Let me know what you think. So that's Mason Mount. I don't think I would have given the number 7. Just for me personally, I wouldn't give him the number 7. Just because the number 7 shirt at Manchester United. So if you're watching this and you're not a Man United fan, you may not quite get it's just a number. And at some clubs, a number is just a number. At Manchester United, the number 7 shirt has a special meaning. People easily think back over the years, the Cantonas, the Beckhams, the Ronaldos. I mean, there's been the Memphis Depays, the Michael Owens. There's been some not so great players to wear it as well. Don't get me wrong, but by and large, for United fans, we think of the number 7. We think of the greats that have worn that number over the years, and it's a lot of pressure to put on a young lad who's coming in. Now it's one of two things. I mean, either one, the player and the manager think he can handle it, and it's something that actually spur him on. Maybe we don't know. The other thing is maybe the manager's trying to make a point that I'm the manager now. It's just a number. It doesn't matter who it goes to. Yeah, you have it. Who knows? I guess maybe something will come out. Maybe there'll be an interview down the line. But Mason Mount, number 7, playing the number 8 role. The number 7 shirt could be any position at United. It's been wingers. It's been a striker. It could be anything. But that's Mason Mount. Then obviously we've seen that Andre Onana being linked as the new goalkeeper. Obviously David De Gea has left. I'm going to start off. I'm a fan of De Gea. I think the club have treated him appallingly in the way that this is all played out. Yes, it probably is, if we can get Onana in as the replacement, which looks likely to be confirmed in the next 2 or 3 days, hopefully. I think it's the right move in terms of the playing style the manager wants to pursue. So, no argument on that one. I'll back the manager, I'll back Erik ten Hag. But could the club have handled the David De Gea situation better? Yes. The way it's played out, the guy went on holiday at the end of the season. he'd agreed the contract. The contract was on the table. He'd verbally agreed it. Hadn't signed it, but it was all verbally agreed. And yeah, all right, I'm going on holiday. I'll sign it when I get back. And this was with a, losing about third or so of his wages, and to then come back and have a, actually, that contract we've agreed is on the table, isn't there now. We've took that away. Here's another contract with even less wages, but then even if you agree to that, we might not want to sign it. And it's just, it's not professional, is it? I appreciate that going into the transfer window, priorities have changed because we've got this limited budget because of the ownership situation. And we thought we were going to get Harry Kane, and it was going to be 80 to 100 mil on him, and that can't happen. So we've got some money there that we didn't think we would have. So we've kind of changed things around. But to me, goalkeeper, I don't know. I think it's way down. I think we needed 2 strikers, 2 midfielders, Mount, and someone more defensive who can cover for Casemiro when he's out. Perhaps a centre back. And then look at the goalkeeper. To me, the goalkeeper position was number 6, number 7 on the list of priorities. It wasn't a top priority. That said, Onana, I like him. He's a bit eccentric. He's box office. The only United keeper I can think of in modern times that I've seen who would, be a comparison in terms of the style, the eccentricity in which he plays, would have been Fabian Barthez. Obviously, Barthez didn't have the greatest time at Old Trafford. To be fair, I mean, I remember that goal we conceded against, I think it was West Ham. Was it Di Canio, where Barthez was just there, like offside, didn't even react to the shot, and he just went in and he wasn't offside, or the ref didn't say he was offside at least. So the eccentric keepers that take risks, which inevitably will sometimes not pay off. Sometimes it will backfire. Sometimes those mistakes will lead to goals. We need to accept this as United fans. We need to get behind the player. Is a player that is just playing in a Champions League final, which is more than most of our current squad can say. I know obviously Varane and Casemiro have, but most of our squad haven't. Can't say that. Onana also played under Erik ten Hag at Ajax, so there is a relationship there. Erik ten Hag knows exactly what he's getting with Andre Onana. And again, if we're backing the manager, we need to back the player, get behind the player when he makes a mistake. Don't all jump on him. Oh, De Gea would have saved that. Perhaps he would have, but De Gea's not going to be there anymore. So we have to thank David De Gea for what he's done for United. Absolute legend of the club, in my opinion. 12 years there. Probably deserved to, in all fairness, to win more than he did. The times he basically kept United relevant, kept us in the top 4, top 6 on the table, when without him we may well have been 10th, 12th. So I think David De Gea, we owe him a massive debt as a club. I think that there needs to be respect on his name. I think he's an icon, he's a legend of the club, and the way some people have gone, I've seen comments on social media, even on David De Gea's own post where he's said about leaving, and people are replying, going, "Oh, good riddance to you. Finally you've gone." Come on, guys, a bit of class, a bit of respect for the guy, yeah. Just there's no need. Like if you were one of the people who wanted him gone, he's gone. Be happy. So yeah, that's the goalkeeper situation. We've been linked with some other keepers as well. I can't lie, I don't know a huge deal about them. I think younger, cheaper alternatives to Onana. I'm hoping they're not alternatives, and that one of them is a second choice keeper. So obviously, De Gea's gone as first choice keeper. Dean Henderson's likely to go. I don't think we can keep him as a second choice keeper again. I think he's got the ego that he needs to be playing. Ultimately, Dean Henderson is on over 100,000 a week. Again, you don't want him sat on the bench. He's got the ego. He's on big money. It's just not good for the club to have him sat on the bench. So he needs to go, which then leaves you do we keep Tom Heaton as a second choice keeper? And I know he's had an offer from Luton Town, who've just been promoted, of course, to the Premier League. Or do we let him go and play So I think Luton obviously want him to be their first choice keeper, who play regular football, which would probably be better for him. And we then bring in a young keeper to be the number 2 to deputise and maybe longer term. Because I think Onana's in his late 20s, so Onana maybe 5, 6, 7 years. Say, I know keepers can go on, but and then someone who can bring in a younger keeper who's 20, 21 maybe, who can build up to replace and be the age of Onana is to be in their late 20s when Onana goes to then come in and then be the new number 1. I think that makes sense from my perspective. Maybe you disagree. Live chat, comments, let me know what you think. Otherwise, Harry Maguire, we tried to sell him, no one wants him. What a shocker, eh? 200 grand a week, played more minutes for England than he has for Man United this last season, and nobody wants to buy him. I mean, if you're surprised by that, please do let me know. I'm not. No one's going to pay him 200 grand a week. Teams may have been interested. There might have been some teams that came in and put initial inquiry and initial, tentative sort of, tentative inquiries and then when he's on 200 grand a week and he wants similar, forget it. He ain't a 200 grand a week player. He just ain't. Which I mean, I know he looks good for England playing against Macedonia, but let's face it, I'd probably play against Macedonia and look half decent at centre back. Who's their striker? The local nursery teacher. Come on. No disrespect to Macedonia, but they're not a France or a Germany or an Italy, are they? If you're killing Mbappe, you're coming out, you're looking at the England team sheet, and you see Harry Maguire's, you're going to target him. You're going to be rubbing your hands and go, yes, I'm in here. You're going to target him every time. I just don't see how... how you can keep picking players for England who aren't playing for their club. So surely if Maguire wants to be playing for England going into the Euros next year in 2024, he needs to move this summer to a club where it's going to be a regular starter to get his England place nailed down. Because otherwise, I mean, maybe Gareth Southgate disagrees with me, but you can't pick players like Maguire, Calvin Phillips, if they're not playing for the club side. They need to be playing at least on a semi-regular basis, maybe not first choice, but third choice in that, second or third choice in that position. But Harry Maguire, I mean, United have been linked with centre-backs. Kim Min-jae obviously has gone to Bayern Munich, but now we've been linked with this French, can't even think of his name, Diastis or something. I've just butchered his name, I know I have. I'm sure someone will tell me. But the fact that we keep being linked with centre-backs, right-sided centre-backs as well, not left-sided, right-sided, which is where Varane plays, where Maguire would ideally play, does that not tell Harry Maguire that, we've got Martinez, Shaw can cover, Varane, and then we're going to bring someone else in to cover? Maguire, you're going to be fifth-choice centre-back. What are you doing? It's 200 grand a week on the bench as a fifth choice centre back. Come on. Where's your ambition? Where's your pride? Surely you want to play. Surely you want to show how good you are. Forget your media interviews. I've got nothing to prove. All the managers pick me. You're not being picked. Erik ten Hag is not picking you. He's come out today that you're going to be stripped of the captaincy. About time. So surely... there's your kick up the backside that you're not that good. You have got a point to prove. You're not being picked by every manager. You're not the captain anymore. It's time to move on. But how many players, and I'm thinking the Maguires, the McTominays here, how many of these players actually want to move? How many of them are knocking on his door? Yeah, come in. Eric, you're not playing me. I want to go. Unless you're going to play me next season and guarantee me minutes, I'm off. How many are doing that? Because... honestly, I don't think there's that many are doing it because I don't see the ambition, the personal pride in some of these players to actually push themselves to do that. They'd rather take the 100,000, 200,000 a week sit on the bench, or in Martial's case, 200,000 sit on the treatment table. It's just I just don't get. I mean, I don't get it because it's a short career. If you play well for your team, you can go play for your national team, generally speaking. Unless you're Harry Maguire, you don't have to play for your team. But Generally, club football is where you see your bread and butter, where you show how good you are. Then you can go win personal awards. You can play with the national team, try and win international competitions. It kind of it's a building process. You do one which leads to the next, to the next, to the next. If you don't do this one, if you don't do the basics, how are you going to do the next level? And maybe McTominay will keep playing for Scotland because maybe Scotland don't have such a depth of talent. But you telling me Tamori, who's playing out in Italy at the moment and he's English, isn't a better option than Harry Maguire for England, a centre back? Come on. Otherwise, Fred looks like he might be going. Not a surprise, really. For 50 million, 54 million, I think we paid for him when I think Mourinho signed him. The thing with Fred is wildly inconsistent. He has a couple of games where he looks brilliant. Well, not even the whole game. So some of those ever. First half, he'll be abysmal, and you wonder why we've ever signed him and why he's even a professional footballer. You're checking his passport. Is he really Brazilian? The second half, he's world class. He's making tackles, pinging the ball around, and making assists, and surging into the box. He's a whole other player. I think that's the thing with Fred. It's not that he can't do it. He can do it. He's shown glimpses of it. He's shown he can do it. But he does it so infrequently, so inconsistently. For a club who are aiming for, top 3 Champions League trophy, places, trophies, trying to win league titles, it's not good enough. You cannot you cannot carry the squad as a whole is not good enough to carry a player of that ilk at the moment. If the other 10 players in the team, the other 10 positions are all superstars, or you could probably carry one, but trying to carry someone like that in your midfield, nah, it's not happening. So he's 31 years old nearly. So I think time's right. He's got 1 year on his contract. Let him go. Thank him for his service, and wish him all the best. We'll see where Fulham or wherever he ends up going. But if Fred goes, we keep McTominay. I'd almost rather keep Fred than McTominay. That's saying, everything I've just said about Fred and how much I think he's not the right player. I'll still rather keep him than Scott McTominay. That's not praising Fred. That's a massive level of disrespect on Scott McTominay. And that's what his performances warrant right now. I'm sure the passion's there. You can see I'm sure if I meet him, if you met him off the pitch, he's a nice guy. And I don't know the guy. I'm sure he's lovely, but he's not a top quality centre midfielder for me, for a team that want to win trophies. And you see Newcastle teams like Newcastle and West Ham linked with him. Again, let him go. Let him go. If these teams want him, Eric Ten Hag needs, the same way we've been with David De Gea. I know he's out of contract, it's slightly different, but we've just kind of went, we've pulled the contract, you're going. We need to do it with Maguire, with McTominay, with Fred if he doesn't want to go. I think he does. With Martial, if we ever find a buyer for him. We need to be doing it with these players where we're saying, look, you're not good enough. You're not going to get any minutes. If you stay, you're going to be in the reserves. Go for your own career. Go. And if the players kick off and sulk, stick them in the reserves. Eventually, it'll go one of two ways. They're either happy playing in the reserves, collecting their wages, which tells you everything you need to know about their mentality, or they'll get the hint and they'll go. There's two ways about it, really, isn't it? There's you can't be going, oh well, we'll keep Pierre on 200 grand a week on the bench. Come off it. Anyway, I think that's kind of sums up majority of the bulk of it. Obviously, the sale's still going on in the background. I'll give in with the sale process. The other thing I want to touch on is this financial fair play thing the club keep bringing up. So reputable journalists, I can't think of the word, reputable journalists keep talking about financial fair play as a reason why Manchester United cannot make signings. To a point, yes. To a point, no. Financial fair play stops us making signings because of the whole income versus expenditure thing. Now, Chelsea this season, well, this summer, we're not meant to be able to sign anybody because of financial fair play. And then they sold £200 million worth of players, and also, we can sign players. We've got money to spend again. Manchester United were actually any good, and I know Chelsea got the whole Saudi thing, it's a bit iffy, but if we were actually any good at selling players, we actually went out and sold the Dean Hendersons, the Harry Maguires, the McTominays, we would actually then get money in, which then increases how much we can spend, because of that difference between income and expenditure. Your income goes up, so your expenditure can go up accordingly. We can then go spend more money on signing the players that the manager wants. The targets that Eric Ten Hag's identified, we can go sign them. Why aren't we doing it? Because, John Murtagh, our director of football, who's only been in the job for a couple of years, he was there years ago. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, when John Murtagh got officially made director of football, you can go find the interview, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who was manager at the time, said, nothing's changed, he was doing this anyway, he's just now got the official title. Nothing's changed. Nothing has changed. Richard Arnold was Ed Woodward's right-hand man. John Murtagh was already doing the job, he just didn't have the official title. Nothing's changed. We're still same old, still bodging transfers, can't negotiate our way out of anything. So, yes, we will sign players. No, I don't think we'll sign the manager's first choice players. That annoys me. The manager needs to be backed. We need to get, if he says this is my first choice, this is my first choice, this is my first choice. And I think at some positions now, we're not even on a second choice, we're on third, fourth, fifth choice. I think that's how bad we are. Players who the manager's identified as not being needed or not wanted, we need to be moving them on. And I look at Arsenal, with Aubameyang, and in the end, they paid him to leave. Now, I'm not saying we can do it with every player that we want to shift, but there must be Harry Maguire, for example, with his stupid wages. Okay, it maybe not, but if we can get, 20, 30 mil for him and give 5 to 10 mil of that transfer fee to him to cover the difference in wages, is that not better than having him sat on our bench collecting £200,000 a week and we get nothing for him? He's a minus every week, rather than something that can go towards strengthening the squad. And it's things like that which they just annoy me, because if the director of football was competent, if the board were competent, if the owners cared about the club and were pushing the board and the director of football to do their jobs properly for the benefit of the club, we would be in a much better position. Unfortunately, I suspect, and I might be wrong, but I suspect that part of the issue here is that Harry Maguire is listed as an £80 million asset, because that's what we paid for him. Leicester, sorry, is coming. Because that's what we paid for him, it is listed as an £80 million asset against the debt that the Glazers have loaded onto the club, which means then if we sell him for 20, 30 mil, and even if you say you end up making 30 mil off the deal, you're still 50 mil down on the asset value, which impacts debt payments or whatever else. I don't know the full ins and outs. I'm not claiming I'm not a financial trader or anything like that, but there are things I've read and heard of that is the case. Well, if you're registering him as an £80 million asset and you're never going to get £80 million for him, are we just stuck with him forever? Where and again, if we didn't have the debt from the Glazers, that would not even be a possibility. So is the debt situation and the poor negotiating for the people the Glazers have put in place now hampering Eric Ten Hag's ability to shift on players he doesn't want, bring in players he does want, and reinvest and reinvigorate the squad? I believe it is. So yes, the sale's still ongoing. To me, yes, we still need a full sale only. Yeah, and that means Glazers out. And as I understand it right now, is that Sir Jim Ineos bid still keeps at least some of the Glazers there. So it's still Qatari in, Glazers out, and that's the only way it can proceed. Anyway, I've probably gone for long enough. Thank you if you have made it this far. You're a real legend. Obviously, as I mentioned at the start, if you haven't already, please do hit the like button, hit subscribe. Love you for that. Any thoughts, anything at all, please drop it down in the comments. If you look back, you'll see I always reply to the comments. Might just be saying I agree with you, might be disagreeing, might raise another point, but I'll always respond. So please do get in touch. Otherwise, I'm sure things will start to happen in this next week or so. So maybe we'll have a bit more to talk about and do some more frequent updates. I was hoping to do more of the last week, but I do want to see it going. We might sign someone soon. We might sell someone soon. you know. But yeah, thanks a lot.